What's up, guys? Mr. Dan here, back again with another Martial Arts Monday review. This time it's the classic Shaw Brothers film, The 8-Diagram Pole Fighter. This is the Dragon Dynasty Celestial Pictures DVD number 43. Typically I go with the Blu-rays if they're available, but if there's a DVD at a good price, I'm certainly not opposed to owning the DVD. I have not shown this on the channel yet. This was waiting for me at home after I got back from a trip. And so I haven't shown this on the channel yet, but this is such a classic. I've heard about it for years. You'll see it on many people's top 10 lists. So I knew I had to watch it and review it right away, so here we go. This is an excellent film. It truly is a classic kung fu martial arts film. And there's a few reasons for that. The first one is it follows the formula, a formula of betrayal, and then revenge, personal growth in the process. But it does so with a twist, with a few really clever twists. There's some things in here that are variations of things that we've seen before that I think are really clever and really interesting. And then the second reason is the cast and crew. This is directed by Lu Chia Liang. I always think of him as that tough little guy. If you remember, he was in Drunken Master 2 with Jackie Chan. He was the one that was fighting Jackie Chan under the train. They were fighting over the ginseng, and he had a spear just like this one. So he's an excellent martial. He's no longer with us. He was an excellent martial artist and fight choreographer. So he's exactly the right person for the job as far as directing. And he also wrote this. And he does appear in a small role playing kind of a hermit, recluse type of character who is just kind of hiding out from society because of the corruption and everything, and who ends up helping our protagonist in a key moment, which we've seen that kind of character before. So like I said, this film sort of follows the formula. It just does it well. And this film also stars Gordon Liu and Alexander Fusheng as two of the Yang brothers, number 5 and 6. I think they went up to 8, but the rest of them get massacred in the beginning in a really good scene. And I'll just say now, speaking of massacre, this is a little bloodier than some other films. A lot of people towards the end will end up losing their teeth. We'll get into that in a moment here. But yeah, this is a little bloodier than the ones that I used to watch that used to come on TV, on Kung Fu Theater, on Saturday afternoons when I was a child. But it also stars Kara Wai, or Hugh, depending on how you pronounce her last name, as I think she's sister number 8. I think there's even more than that. I know there's a sister number 9, but she's the most prominent. And as the Alexander Fusheng character sort of becomes less important to the story, because after witnessing the massacre, he's gone insane, and he doesn't quite fully recover. She becomes more prominent, so she has some excellent scenes in this film. She always has a very spunky presence in these films. All of the bad guys are appropriately evil, and as I said, Gordon Liu is the main surviving brother, who then goes to the Shaolin Temple for training and to sort of hide out and train and plot his revenge. Which, of course, again, following the formula, if you try to enter the Shaolin Temple when they're not accepting students, or if you have opposing philosophies to the monks, you're going to have a hard time. So there's that sort of internal struggle. So let's just back up. Yeah. So the Yang family appears to be a very wealthy, well-known family, and they're all excellent martial artists. They tend to use these spears, and they are set up by some local corrupt individuals who are working with an outside invading force. Usually in these films, that's depicted as the Manchus. In this film, they're called either Mongols or Tartars, and they're portrayed as kind of like this barbarian force. Some of them even have leopard skin vests on to drive home that point. On that note, the costumes in the beginning, I was kind of baffled by them. There's one set of archers that has what appear to be Santa hats, but I guess they were trying to go for some kind of authentic Tartar uniform. But the costumes get a lot better. And actually, they're pretty darn good in this. Very colorful, very striking, actually. You know, all of the sisters and Mother Yang, who's played by Lily Lee, you know, looks pretty stunning in their dresses and everything. Yang brothers are basically ambushed and massacred by this much larger force. Now, what I like about it is, as I said, you've got some great martial arts in here, but they put little twists on things. For example, as a countermeasure to the spears, I'll just call them the Mongols. The Mongols have developed a staff that has a flexible end. So when they sort of whack it against the spear that the Yang family has, they can grab it and pull it away. And they can also grab you by the wrist or ankle. So there's several crazy scenes in this where they're actually grabbing people and lifting them off the ground. Pretty crazy stunts in this. I think they certainly used a lot of wire work in this film, but they used it really well, really well. So after that, like I said, the one brother returns to the family and basically describes what happened. And he's actually laughing as he's talking, describing how each one of his brothers gets killed, but he's clearly gone insane. And then they think that they're not sure if the other brother, played by Gordon Liu, has survived, but he goes to the Shaolin Temple for training. And of course, Gordon Liu, you know, when Gordon Liu and Shaolin temples kind of go together in these films. So at first, like as I said, they don't want to train him, but he's so stubborn and persistent. He actually takes a razor, shaves his own head, and then he actually puts, you know, the little dots, little circles on top of the head. Something we see, but we just take for granted. I've never really thought about it, how they do that. Well, he does it himself. So you get to learn how they do that. And he kind of makes a mess of both things. I mean, he's pretty bloody after he tries to shave himself. And he just begins training and having these conflicts with the abbot. And one of the really cool training sequences involves the den of wolves. And I'll put a picture up on the screen of one of the wolves. Instead of having the wooden men that have that spin around and that you practice fighting against, they have these wolves which they can manipulate. The tail moves, the limbs move, they rock back and forth, the mouth opens, they have metal teeth, and what they're doing is they're just sort of using their staffs to strike the mouth and basically practice their technique. And they want to sort of tame the wolves. That's with the head abbot, how the head abbot explains it. Well, the Gordon Liu character sees this. He takes his staff and just starts beating one of them to pieces. And they're like, what are you doing? So they have opposing philosophies. But these wolves are really cool. And they actually use one of them as a weapon later in the movie. Because like I said, they have these metal teeth. It's pretty wild stuff. And I won't go into the plot details that much more. I mean, you can guess what happens. He emerges from the Shaolin Temple. His family learns that he's alive, and they attack the bad guys with some pretty good set-piece action scenes. They have to smuggle some things past the guards and so forth, and there's also another significant weapon, like a golden spear, which has a longer blade at the end, which the Kara Y character uses quite well. She has some excellent scenes. I mean, and they also, I've seen behind the scenes movies with horses where, you've got to be careful. If you've got horses just sitting there doing nothing while you're doing choreography, and they get antsy or rammy, they can suddenly bolt and run people over. That's happened in the film sets. They're doing all kinds of choreography on the horses, over the horse. It's pretty wild stuff. So, really pretty cool. Just fantastic fight choreography. And I won't really spoil the ending or anything. Like I said, this does follow kind of a formula. It's just that the choreography is even better than usual. A little bloodier than usual. Oh yeah, for some reason at the end. Yeah, I don't... So when they're going up against the den of wolves, they will put the staffs in the mouth and sort of pull it through the other side. And that's, you know, the Gordon Liu character. So what are you doing that for? Just beat the thing. Well, towards the end, some other monks get involved, and they actually do that to some humans. And, you know, they whacked them in the mouth with the staff, and then the teeth, they pull it out, and the teeth are on the staff. And then they shove the whole, and then there's other scenes where the people are getting the staff shoved right in the mouth, knocking out the teeth. By the end, and I guess maybe they just thought that was cool, so they just kept going with it. Because then there's like 5 or 6 other different ways people get their teeth knocked out in this. There's teeth all over the place at the end of this movie. I'd never seen that before. Yeah, this is an excellent film. Definitely check it out. A great role for Gordon Liu. And just a great film all around. What are your thoughts on the 8 Diagram Pole Fighter? Have you seen it? This has been on my list for a while. Is it on your list if you haven't seen it? Let me know in the comments below. And I'll check you next time for Martial Arts Monday. Thanks.